Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to the Facebook Live meeting today. Oh, man. And welcome to the Teaching of Talking. I'm Mark Ittleman. I'm a speech-language pathologist, and I've been helping people speak better for, the last 45 years. Can you believe that, man? 45 years helping people with aphasia, helping people who have difficulty speaking. And welcome to this Facebook Live. We have a great program for you today, a program that is going to help you move forward. If you're someone who has aphasia, or if you're someone who has a loved one who has aphasia, I'm going to share with you some information today that will be very, very, very helpful for you. And it's very commonsensical. In fact, it's so commonsensical that many people don't even apply some of these rules that I'm going to teach you today. So just welcome. Hi, Raymond. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Malka. We've got so many wonderful people on the call already. Hi, Linda Bartley. And we have a whole lot of great information for you. And if you look on this Facebook Live, we're going to be speaking today about making 2019 the year for better talking. And we're going to explain with you, and we're going to explain the strategies and the techniques that you're going to need in order to be successful, in order to make 2019 a wonderful year for your speaking. And if you look at the calendar, you'll see that, my goodness, today's the 19th of December already, and within 2 weeks, it's going to be the new year. It's going to be another year. And you know how time just goes. It doesn't wait for anybody. It just keeps going. So I want to share with you, and Bracha, great to see you on the call. Bracha's from Israel. Great to see you. I'm going to share with some things with you today, Bracha, and Juanetta and Virginia. Hi, Virginia, and Malka, and everybody. I'm going to share with you some very simple things that will help you take your ability to help your loved one, or that will help you, if you have aphasia, take your speaking to the next level. Okay, so we're not going to waste any time. Hi, Mary. What we're going to do is I'm going to take a portion of today's meeting, and I want to teach you some things that are very critical that you just have to know if you're going to make a success in 2019. That's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to learn the teaching of talking. And number 3, I'm going to visit with you. I'm going to visit and invite you onto the call. And hi, Sue from South Africa. We've been getting inquiries from all over the world. And one of the amazing things about speech therapy and about people who have aphasia is that all over the world, the clinical services cannot meet the needs of people with aphasia. They can't meet your needs. They'll give you speech therapy for a while, but then they're going to pull the plug on you. Okay? They're definitely going to pull the plug on you. Okay? And so one of the things you got to know is they're going to pull the plug, and you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a backup plan, because what happens is that therapy ends and most people don't have backup plans. Hi, Gifty. And when you don't have a backup plan, you're stuck. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you right now the things that people do who succeed with their loved ones who have difficulty speaking. And so listen very closely. I would suggest to you that if you have a piece of paper somewhere on hand, Hi, Camille, that if you have a piece of paper somewhere on hand, that you write down some of the things I'm going to share with you, because what we know is that you're going to remember 40% more of what I'm going to share with you if you write it down. Now, I don't usually ask people to write things down, but the information that I'm going to be sharing with you today about the strategies and techniques to help your loved ones speak better, that you need to know these. And, you know, what we know about human behavior is when we talk to somebody, we start forgetting almost right away. Okay, so we don't want you to forget. So if you can, write some of these things down. Okay, so the first thing, that if you're going to succeed in 2019, you have to be very specifically about what you want. Yeah, you got to know what you want. Okay, so I want everybody to think for a minute what you want. Okay, and if you want, you can type it into the into your browser or into your computer. Just think about what you want. Okay, you have to be very, very, very clear on what you want. So some people might say, "Oh, I want better speaking. I want to talk better in 2019." Well, guess what? That ain't enough. It's just not enough. You have to be very, very specific. Like, I want to be able to speak in small phrases and sentences in 2019. Or, I want to speak, and every time I speak, I want to be understood by those around me. Okay, you've got to be very, very specific. Or, I don't want to sound like I've had too many drinks when I talk. I want to speak clearly and succinctly. So the first thing is, you want to get very, very, very clear on exactly what you want, and it's got to be specific. Okay? You know, it's sort of like planning a vacation. If you want to go to Outer Mongolia, okay, you got to contact the airline. You got to decide the date. You got to decide who's going, when are you going, where are you going, how you're going to get there, and then you have to decide, what am I going to do when I'm there? Where am I going to go? I've got to develop an itinerary. So you've got to be very specific. The people who succeed with helping their loved ones talk are very, very clear about what they want to achieve. Not only are they very clear, but they have it all written down, because if you have it written down, 40% of the people who have their goal written down, 40% of them do much, much better than those who don't. So you have to know what you want. You have to be very, very specific. I want to speak in small phrases. I want to speak in sentences. I want to speak throughout the day with my loved one and be understood. And guess what? One of the big things that you've got to realize is you've got to realize that the person who has aphasia or the person who has dysarthria has to want the goal as much as you do. The person has to be willing to work on it. The person has to be willing to step out of their comfort zone. Now, here's a big one. Your comfort zone, okay? Now, many of us, after we've worked all day, we want to have our dinner. We want to sit down in our recliner. And then we want to kind of kick back and maybe watch TV or listen to some music or read a book, okay? That's being in the comfort zone. Being in the comfort zone is, you know, being comfortable, enjoying yourself. But guess what? If you're going to be stimulating speech and language, if you're going to be dedicated to really improving your speech in 2019, you've got to step out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone, you're not going to get anywhere if you stay in your comfort zone, because you're going to be sitting in your recliner watching YouTube or watching Netflix or watching whatever it is, and before you know it, the night's going to be over. The same thing happens during the day. If you're going to be getting better speaking, or if you're a caregiver and you're going to be helping a loved one speak, you've got to be out of your comfort zone. Okay? You got to be out of your comfort zone. You've got to be dedicated and focused to this. Dedicated and focused. Dedicated and focused. That this 2019 is going to be the year that you're going to achieve what you need. Okay. So you want to be specific. Okay. Then you want to put a time frame. Okay. Our time frame is going to be that we want to learn how to, the strategy is that you're going to practice every day. You're going to engage the person, or if you're a person with aphasia, you're going to speak every day. That's the strategy. You got to have a strategy. The strategy is that I talk every day. Now, then there's the technique. Well, what technique am I going to use when I talk? If caregivers, what technique are you going to learn, okay, to help your loved one speak better? And the answer is, I hope, the teaching of talking, because that's what I've spent 45 years developing for people who are caregivers and people who have aphasia. So you have to learn what to do. Okay? You have to, the strategy is that you're going to be speaking every day with your loved one. Or if you have aphasia, you're going to be speaking every day. And guess how much you're going to be speaking? Okay. I wrote an article last week about the pomegranate. Okay? And the pomegranate, guess what? It has 614 seeds in it. It has 614 seeds. Hey, Natasha. Okay. Hey, Linda. And so what I want you to think about is that you're going to be stimulating at least 614 words a day. Okay. Now we're going to get specific now with you. Write this down. A minimum, if your person can handle it. And if your person really wants to improve their speaking, that they're going to speak at least 614 words a day. Now, if you're stimulating sentences, like 3 or 4 word sentences, you take the 614 words and you divide it by the number of words that you're stimulating. All right? You divide it by the number of words that you're stimulating. And so and then when you get that, then you divide up the number of hours in a day. So I'm going to give you a typical example that I kind of worked on this morning. If you're working, let's say, on 4-word phrases, and you want to work on at least 614 words a day, you divide the 4-word phrase into the number of words, 614 words that you're going to be speaking every day. Now that's 614. Now that's going to take you out of your comfort zone. But remember, you have to step out of your comfort zone if you're going to be successful. So that means that you have to speak 153 4-word phrases throughout the day. All right, get that. You've got 614 words, and let's say you're at a 4-word level. That means you have to stimulate 153 phrases. Now, this type of therapy, the one I'm suggesting for you, is unheard of. No therapist, hardly any, if any, anywhere throughout the world, realizes that if a person with aphasia is going to get their speaking better, first of all, they must speak with another person. And they must speak a lot, and they've got to be cued a lot. So they may have to speak up to 153 phrases per day. Now you divide that 153 by 12 waking hours, and that'll give you how many phrases you want to stimulate every hour. Now that's for 4 words. let's say you're at the 2-word level. I mean, there are a lot of people who aren't talking at all. And you're going to start helping them talk because you're going to have a strategy. And that strategy is that you're going to engage them. You're going to help them talk throughout the day. Well, let's say you're at the 2-word level. Yes. Let's say you're at the 2-word level. Guess how many 2-word phrases you've got to stimulate in a typical day? That's 307 2-word phrases. 307 2-word phrases that you're going to be stimulating throughout the day. Okay, now we have to get specific here. It's not just, I want to talk better. And if you think you're going to get better by going to speech therapy twice a week for a half an hour or an hour, guess what? You might as well stay home. I mean, you'll get a little better, but I've been watching people get better in terms of their speaking, those with aphasia, for over 45 years. And I've finally realized, by having the experience of helping people with aphasia, that many of them aren't happy with the results they're getting. Most of them probably don't even want to go to speech therapy anymore, because what typically happens, and what I frequently hear from people, is, I don't know if we really want to work again with speech therapy because we just haven't been successful. And we've had maybe 1 therapist, maybe 2 therapists, maybe we've had 3 therapists, and we haven't been really successful yet. Well, the proof of the pudding, and I'm trying to break it really down to Soulsville, the proof of the pudding is, that you must stimulate, if the person is capable and if the person is up to it, at least 614 words a day. It's like Tiger Woods. That guy practices like 6 or 8 hours a day when he's not in the tournament. I mean, this is not for the faint-hearted. This is for those of you who truly want better speaking. Because going to speech therapy twice a week, or even to an intensive program for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, that might be kind of okay for that length of time, but it's not enough, because where the trick is the stimulation of speech at home. I also am getting fed intermittently. Seems like you might not have a good reception. Well, I have good reception, and I hope everybody can hear me. Can everybody hear me okay? Would somebody please just let me know if you're able to hear me okay? If you're able to hear me okay, give me a thumbs up, okay? There might be some people who might not have strong enough bandwidth, but if you do, put a thumbs up, okay? Please let me know that, so that I can know that you're hearing me okay. All right, so I'm gonna take my earphones off just in case maybe you're not hearing me well. So I'm gonna go through another way. Okay, so remember that speech therapy is all about repetition, and what we want for everyone. Now people are saying it's better. Okay, so I don't know what the problem was, but thank you very much, Tish, for giving me that feedback. So just to review real quick, okay, that if you're going to have speech better in 2019, you've got to have a clear goal that's written out, okay, of exactly what you want. Then you've got to have a strategy, and the strategy is stimulating speech every day. Then the technique is, what am I going to do to help my loved one speak better? And I've created a video for you. I've created a book for you. I've created an audio program for you. I've created all of these products so that you can learn what it took me 45 years of clinical practice working with people with aphasia to learn, and I've condensed that all into a video that you can independently learn. I've put it into a book, I've put it into an audio program, and I've even put it into one-on-one training and small group training. So we're making it possible for everyone to learn. Okay, so you're going to learn what to do. You're going to learn to get the information, because if you're going to achieve with helping people talk better, you've got to have a method to use. Okay, you've got to step out of your comfort zone. Now, the other thing you got to do, and what I think is really, really important, is that you've got to have a coach. And I'll tell you why you need a coach. And that is, how many of us have started out on a goal, like a New Year's resolution, and we got started doing it, and, something happened, we got sick, something happened, and all of a sudden it interrupted our plan. It interrupted our strategy, okay? And so what happens is a lot of people don't go back. They don't go back and continue. So if you have somebody to work with, they'll teach you, okay? They'll teach you what to do, and they'll make sure that you know what to do. And that's the critical thing, all right? The other critical thing, remember, is the pomegranate. 614 words that you're going to be stimulating. And if you're stimulating phrases, that you're going to divide that 614 into the number of phrases that you're working with. And there's Dennis. Hi, Dennis. And, one of the most important thing is, I see a lot of people who practice their speaking, and they might have dysarthria or any other kind of speaking problem, and they practice with an iPad or something like that. iPads are okay, but it's not talking. All right? And so what the teaching of talking is all about is about talking with another person. And if you're at the 2-word level or you're at the 3-word level, you're working with another person and you're interacting and talking with them. And that's what the beauty is. Sometimes if you just have an iPad or something that you're practicing phrases or sentences with, it's not like talking to somebody. You're talking to an iPad, and the iPad really doesn't talk back to you, okay? It doesn't have a conversation with you. So you're going to learn what to do. You're going to get the information. You're going to step out of your comfort zone and be stimulating phrases and sentences with the person at home. Maybe 15, 17 phrases maybe every waking hour. That's what it takes. Anything less than that, you're going to get minimal results, because we know that people forget, especially those with aphasia. We know that if you're going to learn anything, you've got to repeat. Okay, so next. So that's what I suggest to you. Get specific about what you want. Number 2, write it down. Number 3, find the strategy, which is every day. Find the technique that you're going to use. Use it every day. You stimulate speech every hour on the hour with the person that you love, if you can. And if you can't, then you still have other time on weekends. You have times in the evening. You have times to do this. Keep track of your progress. That's very important. So if your goal is to stimulate 17 phrases every hour, keep track of it. I knew one lady who had a counter. One of those counters like they count people when they come through the door, okay? And she just kept that counter in her hand or in her pocket, and every time she stimulated speech and language, she would hit the counter because she had a goal that she wanted to stimulate 17 phrases every waking hour, 7 days a week, 52 or 53 weeks of the year. Okay, so I want to just share with you 3 more minutes, and then we're going to invite people onto the call about what some of the people have said who have been learning the teaching of talking. And if you want to learn the teaching of talking, go over to the teachingoftalking.com and sign up for the independent study course, or go over to teachingoftalking.com and sign up for the one-on-one with me and small group training. Okay? That'll be really, really good for you. So here's some of the people, and this is what they said about learning the teaching of talking. Here was a letter that I got a couple weeks ago. Thanks so much, Mark. Your help and guidance mean so much to us. And John, who is the husband, is thrilled to work with you. Here's another letter real quick. Dear Mark, thank you for the pat on the back. It's worth more than gold. Okay, so I'm working with this family, and when a person does a really good job, I'll send them a little letter and say, what a great job you're doing. Look at how much your husband is improving in his speech. Isn't it exciting? And I wrote a letter like this to this one person, and she said, thank you, Mark, for the pat on the back. It's worth more than gold. I know what goes on between the therapy visits is so important to my husband's progress. I will say that continuing our sessions with you helps keep me focused. And you have taught me so much, especially that kindness and patience will yield so much more success. And here's the last one I want to share with you. I've got a bunch of them, but this is one of the best ones. This is what she wrote. She said, my husband has aphasia. At first, it was so severe that he didn't even recognize me. He couldn't say a single word. He couldn't suck a straw or blow through his lips. He didn't understand anything except my crying. And that things weren't right. He couldn't even roll over in bed or sit up. He had no ability to read, no ability to write. He couldn't recognize numbers or letters. And when we met Mark, Ronnie could say a few words, but he couldn't carry on a conversation. And Mark made it his business to find out what Ronnie enjoyed talking to Mark about, which was pickup trucks, old cars, motorcycles, and family events. Mark would draw the conversation out of my husband, and he taught me how to do the same. Ronnie got to the point where on trips, I would encourage him to talk, and we would talk the whole way on the trip. The people at church began to see Ronnie walking with new confidence, and they commented on it. He still has aphasia, but he can converse so much more, and I've learned a lot from Mark about stimulating speech. Working with him has been a godsend. And Ronnie has said that of all the therapy that he has had, that the therapy with Mark was the best that he had. Okay, so I've got a couple more minutes before I open up the floor to the people on the call. And I want to tell you and share with you what you're going to learn when you decide to learn the strategy of the teaching of talking. you're going to have videos that you're going to watch. You're going to get about 4 or 5 10-minute videos every week. You're going to learn how to measure speech. You're going to learn if your loved one is a good candidate for the teaching of talking method. You're going to learn how to take a language sample. You're going to learn how to write down everything that your loved one says so that you'll know where to start. You'll know where to start teaching him how to talk maybe in single words or 2 words or 3 words. The evaluation that I'm going to share with you in the teaching of talking video will teach you how to measure speaking and will teach you where to start. Then, once you know how to start, you're going to learn how to stimulate a one-word conversation. You're going to learn how to just have a conversation with somebody with, guess what, 1 word. Now, when they can say 1 word and you can talk about, where they want to go or what they want to do or what they want for a meal or how they're feeling or just about any kind of question, then you're going to learn how to stimulate 2 words. And you'll be stimulating 2 words. And in the video, it teaches you how to do that. And then when they do 2 words, then you're going to go to 3 words. And you'll learn in the video course how to stimulate 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, or 4 words, or 5 words. But you've got to start at where the person is capable. And that you'll find out by learning to do the assessment that you're going to learn. You're going to learn the technique that I've used helping people talk for over 45 years. And you won't have to worry about a lot of trial and error because I've already trialed and errored. I've made lots of mistakes throughout my career, which brought me to this point where you will learn the successful strategies and techniques of an expert who's been helping people talk and talk again who've had aphasia for 45 years. Okay, then you're going to learn how to help people say longer sentences. And then you're going to learn how to teach them about contractions and negatives like can't or don't. Okay? And then you're going to learn how to address errors of grammar. Because a lot of people who have aphasia have errors of grammar and leave out prepositions. Sometimes they leave out verbs, okay? But you're going to learn how to deal with the typical kinds of problems that people with aphasia have, including apraxia. You're going to learn not only that, but you're going to teach them how to ask a question. Now, most therapists work on sentences, okay? And that's good. But you got to remember that when a person talks, half of what they say should be a question. The other half of what they say is an answer. So the whole process of communication, of talking, is a question followed by an answer. A question followed by an answer. Now, when you learn the teaching of talking, which I'm giving you an opportunity today to do by going to teachingoftalking.com, going down to the bottom of the page, and ordering the video program or the one-on-one and small groups, when you do that, you're going to learn how to ask a question and get an answer in 1 word, 2 words, or a phrase all day long. And you're going to learn that, man, you got to do like 15 phrases every hour. Or maybe 12 or 14 every hour. Okay? Or as much as you possibly can, because the whole trick in speech recovery is repetition. Okay, so that's what you're going to be learning. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So we give you everything that you're going to need to learn to help your loved one speak better. But remember, you got to have your goal. It's got to be very specific. You've got to be able to have a sign in your house to remind you to help the person with aphasia throughout the whole day. So my goal is that I got to stimulate my loved one to say a phrase or a sentence maybe 17 times an hour. Okay? Now, you're not going to be with them 24 hours a day, but during the time that they're with you, you're going to be stimulating those phrases and sentences. It's got to be every day. It's got to be 7 days a week. Because if it's any less than that, the progress is going to be minuscule. And one of the problems with many people who have aphasia and their loved ones is that progress is never fast enough. Never fast enough. So I'm going to open up the floor now. I'm going to open up the floor now to anybody on the call who has a question, who has a comment, who'd like to share with us anything, who'd like me to show them something. I would be more than happy to. So I'm going to open up the floor now. And let's see. So if you want to speak with us, just request that I speak with you. Here's Camille. And we spoke to Camille last week, and we taught her some things that she could do to help Terrence. And it was wonderful. Hello, Camille.
Hi.
So, Camille, before we do anything, I want you to tell me what's happening with you. Are you helping Terrence with his speaking?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell me what you've been doing?
All right. I've been trying to do some of the phrases, practical things around the house. So, getting him to say, turn on the lights. I sit on a chair. I would like to eat food, drink water. So trying to break it down, as you told me, 2 to 3 word responses. So making it as simple by stringing the action with what the word is. So drink water or want water, please. That kind of thing.
Okay. Well, that's terrific. And so what do you think? What do you think of this process?
It is work in progress. It's as you say, continuous,
Yes. And how does it compare with the therapy that Terrence has had before?
I don't know the therapy as much as what it is. I just know what I have been doing with him. And he is able to pronounce words a bit better. Even with sounding of letters, that's what I've been trying with him so far.
Okay, now when you do that, when you work with him, how do you position yourself?
I sit at the side of him, and I get him to look at my mouth when I'm saying it, if it is that he's not getting it, because he does remember. And so sometimes he would repeat it without having to look at me. If it is that he is getting a issue of recall, then I'd say to him, okay, listen to what I'm saying, and he would look at my mouth. If I am, because I walk him around the house and get him to say, turn on the TV, trying to make him look at the objects and repeat that. With the windows, I try to get him to say windows, because like this morning, he wanted me to raise the shutters. So he pointed at it and I said, I understand what you're saying, but you have to be able to verbalize it. So windows, open the window, that kind of thing, to get him to keep saying what he wants to show.
Great. Now, let me make a suggestion to you, okay? If you want him to speak more clearly, make sure that when you stimulate his speaking, that you're eyeball to eyeball with him, not to his side, but in front of him. Okay?
Okay.
So that he can see your face and see your mouth and your lips and your tongue. Now, you won't be able to do that every single time, but make sure you position yourself correctly. Now, Camille, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see you demonstrate right now with Terrence. Let's see if you can stimulate 2 or 3 words, a couple of 2 or 3 word phrases, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. I want water, please.
I want water, please.
Very good.
I sit on a chair.
I sit on the chair.
Good. Now,
Right, good.
wait. Now, that's good. Wow, I sit on a chair. That's 5 words. Okay, that's good. Now, remember, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to use the embedded question first. Remember the embedded question? Do you remember how that works?
So you ask the question such as like when you did with the teaching method where you get them to say, okay, would you like bread or eggs? And then he gives a response.
Okay, so let's see you get a 3-word phrase. Let me do one, and then you do one after me, okay?
Sure.
Oh, hi, Terrence.
I
Can you say hi, Mark?
I'm Mark.
Hi, Terrence. You see the question that I asked there? I said, can you say hi, Mark? Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And then I might say to you, hey, Terrence, are you thirsty? Yes or no?
I am good.
Are you thirsty?
Yes.
Can you?
I am
Good. Can you?
good.
Can you say I am thirsty?
I am good.
Good. Oh, you're good.
Please.
Okay. Are you thirsty?
I am thirsty.
Oh, you're thirsty. Okay. So that's what he's producing a G for the TH. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do now, watch what I do here because this is about mirroring. And this is why I recommend to you, Camille, that when you work on the sounds of speech, that you're right in front of that you're like 3 feet in front of him. Now, watch me what I'm going to do, Terrence, okay? I'm going to stick out my tongue. Can you do this?
Thirsty.
I want you to stick out your tongue. Let me see it. I want to see your tongue. Stick it out. Stick your tongue out. Oh, good. Hold it right there. Good. Hold it right there. Oh, that's wonderful. Now, let's say, now hold it there and don't move it. Thirsty.
Thirsty.
Okay. Well, now okay. So then, now what we want to do is we want to just keep the tongue out for the starting sound. So it's like this. Do it with me, Terrence. Watch.
Thirsty.
Good. Very good. Now there's no G. There's the TH there. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Camille? Okay, good.
Yes.
Well, gosh, it's so wonderful sharing with you. Very wonderful sharing with you. And so I want to say to you, are you going to have a Merry Christmas, Terrence?
Terrence.
Are you going to have a Merry Christmas?
Yes. Could. Thirsty.
Okay. Are you going to have a Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
Good.
Yes.
Yes. And here's the last question I have for you. Do you want to wish everybody a happy new year?
Happy New Year.
Good. You see how each one of those was preceded with a question, Camille?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Got that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, keep working. And we'll see you in the new year, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay, good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Very good. Okay. So, she's learning the teaching of talking. And you know something? You go to almost any speech center anywhere, and you go out in the waiting room uh, where people are waiting to see the speech therapist, and the person with aphasia and their loved one or their caregiver, and you ask the caregiver if they know how to stimulate speech, and many of them will have no clue. They drop the person off for their therapy. The person with aphasia gets the therapy. Then whoever dropped them off goes to Walmart and then comes back and may spend a minute or two with the therapist, get the papers or whatever it is they're getting. But the caregivers never really learn how to stimulate speech and language like a professional. And you have an opportunity right now, today, before 2019 starts, to go to the teachingoftalking.com website and go down to the bottom of the page and read up on being able to do the video course, to sign up for the video course and do the video course. Or if you're the type of person who needs some help, okay, and wants some hand holding, because I'll hold your hand, okay, then we also have another program for those who would like to get some help from me, and then after a number of visits with me personally, meet in a small group with some other people and work that way. Or if you want some one-on-one help, just one-on-one help, you can send me an email at talkwithmark1 at gmail.com. So now we're going to go to the next caller. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. Let's see. We did have someone. Let's see if Brucha's still around. I don't know if she's around or not, but let's see if she's here. This is a good friend of ours from Israel. We did online therapy with her and her husband, and I hope that she's going to be accessible. Anybody who has a question, anybody who has a comment or anything, there's a portion on your screen. It has a little face with a little box next to it where you can come onto the call and visit with us and join us. And it's good to see Lisa, who's on the call, and Catherine, who's on the call, Catherine Pilgrim. And so we want to do some more. We want to do some more work online so that we can demonstrate to you how caregivers and loved ones are learning the teaching of talking method. And unfortunately, we couldn't make it through with Brucha, who's over in Israel. But we've been helping them, and we've been helping a lot of people learn the teaching of talking method, and you'll learn everything that you need, because that's what you're going to need to do in 2019 if you want 29 to be the year of better speaking. So I'm going to give you one more opportunity, please, to be on the call with us and join us so that I can share with you what you will need in order to help your loved one speak better. Remember that uh, you need a strategy, which is you're going to help your loved one. You're going to be stimulating sentences 15, 17 an hour. That's what's really necessary. And it should be at home. And it should be in situations where the person needs to speak. Now, I want to tell you about two people who I'm working with right now. They're practicing questions that they're going to be using at the Christmas dinner table at their home. They're having their children, their grown children, for Christmas dinner. And we've been practicing some phrases and some questions. We've been practicing questions that they're going to be asking their loved ones during the Christmas dinner. Now, I've been invited to Christmas dinners of my patients when I worked in Texas and when I worked all over the country in various places. And one of the things that the tendency is that the person with aphasia has a tendency not to say anything at the table. You know, the children are there, the relatives are there, and everybody's having a good time and they're all talking and interacting with each other. But the person with aphasia pretty much stays quiet. It's sort of like if you were going to go over to a foreign country. Let's say you were going to go to France and you were going to sit in at the Christmas table of someone in France who is having Christmas dinner. And let's say you were sitting at the table and they were all speaking French, okay? You couldn't speak it. So what do you end up doing? You end up sitting there like a bump on the log, wishing you could say something, wishing you could ask a question, wishing somebody would even recognize you, ask you a question, okay? But what typically happens is that those with aphasia at home, okay, at a dinner or at a holiday dinner, just end up sitting there. Or they go sit in the other room, okay? We don't want that anymore. We don't want that for 2019. What we want in 2019 is at the family dinners or at any kind of family event, okay, the caregiver is interacting, all right, with the person with aphasia, asking them questions so that they can feel like they're part of the conversation. So they're not left out. And that's one of the biggest problems with aphasia, that people with aphasia are left out of the conversation. They don't have to be. They don't have to be. It says, how can I break my fear to talk in groups, but face to face I talk very well? I have aphasia. Okay, that's a good question. How can I break my fear to talk in groups? Face to face I talk very well. You know, there is an old, and I'm going to answer your question, Miriam, okay? You know, I took the Dale Carnegie course, which is How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I've taken many speaking courses. In fact, I majored in drama. I once wanted to become an actor. But here's what you do, Miriam. You find somebody in the audience and you talk to them. All right? So if you say that you can talk face to face very well, then when you get up in front of that group of people, you find somebody out there in the audience and you focus your eyes, you focus your attention on that one person and you talk to that one person. And you won't even see anybody out to the side or what's in front of you or what's behind you or anywhere, because you'll be focused right on that one person. Now, you should find a person who's kind of like in the middle. And if you get really good at that, then what you can do after a couple of minutes is you find another person and you look directly at them and you speak directly to them so that everybody else is on the periphery and is out of your field of vision because you're focused strictly and distinctly on that one person. So if you say that you can talk face to face with one person very well, then you'll be able to talk in a group as long as you talk face to face with certain members in your audience. Okay, I learned that. I had a little challenge with that at one time in my life, and that's how I fixed it. And that's how I've been helping other people who have the same kind of problem. Okay, it says Seymour. Let's see if there's the person's name isn't Seymour, but it says face to face. I talk very well. I have aphasia. Okay, so that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do for that. Okay, let's see if we have another person here. Oh, we have Dorothy. Oh, we have Dorothy who's going to be coming on. Dorothy's one of my favorite people. Dorothy is a proponent for aphasia. Miss Dorothy, how are you?
Getting better and better. Better and better. Look.
You look a lot better.
Yes, all the time. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, ah.
Yes.
So that's our book, The Teaching of Talking. Thank you.
And Gina.
Ah. Okay. Good. Excellent. Excellent. So you're writing
Gina.
also.
Yes.
So how is your speech doing?
Well, setback because you know, all that, you know, doctor's appointments and toe and feeling better and better.
Okay. And how's Al? How's Al, your husband?
Well, running around as usual.
Has he been helping? Has he been stimulating your speech?
No.
Okay, so
I want you, and me.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Really, I want to learn, and I can't. Very busy all the time, okay?
Okay.
All right? And
yeah.
I want you help, you know, stimulate.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you very much.
Well, okay, I'll get back in touch with you then.
Yes, I like that very much.
Do you want me to call you or do you want to call me?
Yes, you.
Okay.
You.
Would you send me an email with your phone number? Do you have a phone?
I can't do it. Papa.
He's got the phone.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay. Well, then I'll send you an email then.
All right. Yeah.
We can arrange it by email. Can we do that?
Something like that. I want L. Yeah, yes.
Now, I'm not sure I know what that means.
Smouts. Smout. Smout. Oh my God. I want I can't do it anymore.
Okay. So you want the two of us to work together, is that right?
Yes. I like speech very much, okay?
Yes.
And work hard, and I don't get dogs only.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Okay?
so, so you speak a lot with the dogs, but not enough with people.
No, I can't do it. Isolate.
Yes.
Okay? I want help. Okay? All
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I love message.
Okay.
You care. Okay?
Okay.
Care
Thanks,
love.
Dorothy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Okay. Hi, Mary. Hi, Lynn. Okay. Well, that was good. Okay. She's getting better. And man, she's motivated. Okay? And there's nothing better than being motivated. All right? The person with aphasia has to be motivated. There have been times in the past where I've worked with people, the caregiver is very motivated, but the person with aphasia isn't. And that's a problem. That's a problem. But you know something? Here's the thing you need to know. The thing you need to know is that a lot of the people with aphasia who are not motivated are usually not motivated because the therapy that they've had, they haven't enjoyed. They haven't enjoyed it. They haven't had any fun with it. Okay? And one of the things that you'll learn by learning the teaching of talking is that you can have fun talking. Talking is fun. Conversation is fun. Sharing is fun. But the problem has been that in many conventional speech therapy, it's not fun. It just isn't fun. It's work. And most people don't really like to work, but most people like to have fun. And that's what we make sure happens with speech therapy. And you can learn also how you can have fun and help your loved one speak better at the same time. So I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things before I leave. And if there's one more person who wants to be on the call, I'll take the call. But I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me, if you would. And that is that if you'll share this video with any people that you know who have aphasia, or if you can share this video with any of the pages that you visit, where people with aphasia kind of hang out, that would be good because they could see the information. And most people, they don't, they don't, they don't get a whole lot of information about aphasia and how to specifically help. Oh, they get a lot of information about aphasia, but not about how to stimulate speech and language. And that's what our whole goal and our purpose is. So please share. And please also, if you're really, really serious about making 2019 the year of better speaking, then you need, and I'm going to say it for the last time, you need a strategy, and that's every day. And you want at least 614, 615 words you want to be able to utter every day in either a single word, a phrase, or a sentence. All right? Because that'll really help most people. Now, there's some people who have aphasia who might not be good candidates for speech therapy, and there are. And those people would do better with like a communication board or with some type of electronic device to make their needs known. So there are some people who just are not good candidates. And they're the ones usually with profound apraxia, or they have very severe recall difficulties. But, you know, one of the things that I keep reading online is never give up, never give up, never give up. So I'd like to thank everybody for being on the call today. If there's anybody who has a question before I go, either type it into the box or make a request. And if not, I'm going to wish you all a very happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, whatever holiday that you celebrate. We wish you and yours only the best this holiday season and into 2019. And Diane, good to see you. Michelle, good to see you. Camille, thank you for being on the call. Terrence, thank you for being on the call. This is Mark Idelman, speech language pathologist. Let's make it a promise to make 2019 the best year ever for speaking. Bye-bye now.